Alright then, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Crypto Space. Guys, in today's video we are going to cover Pepe, its recent price action. Of course, we are going to cover a couple of interesting charts for BTC and for altcoins as well. So if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing, and a quick disclaimer that this video is not financial advice, alright? So first of all, guys, let's have a look at the bubbles themselves, alright? We are experiencing a beautiful recovery, and obviously that is something great to see, right? However, now I do hope that you are not buying now. You don't buy green candles. Well, when you should be actually buying is, well, in my opinion, not a financial advice, of course, you know, is when there was much more blood in the street, right? If you will be picking up that blood, right, from yesterday, you'll be probably up around, you know, 20, anything between 10 and 20%, okay? And I'm not talking about only Pepe, but just in general around, you know, overall market, okay? So guys, now let's have a look at Pepe if it comes to market cap, all right? So market cap for Pepe is sitting at 3.8 billion USD. So I think that Pepe has a lot of fuel to go. Of course, comparing it to bread, not necessarily. Nevertheless, this is top meme coin on Ethereum, and obviously Ether is going to sooner or later experience that ETF approval, right? So obviously top meme coin on, you know, Ethereum, well, my way of thinking, right, is going to pump the price of Pepe like crazy. Now, before we are going to look at the chart, all right, let's have a look at the holders, right? So last 48 hours, that was 4th of July, we're sitting at 255,020, and at the moment we are sitting at 255k 247. So that's around what, 227, correct me if I'm not wrong in comments down below. So that's not that bad, nevertheless not great like before, okay? But now, before we are going to look at the chart again, let's have a look at this. Can't tell if BTC is in correction or if bull run is over. You're not the only one. Many factors are affecting the market: Mangogs, Germany, elections, ETFs, FTX payouts, etc. So I think, in my personal opinion, that this is, you know, the black swan event that we have experienced in a previous cycle. It was the virus itself. Nevertheless, after that, guys, you remember that things spiked towards the upside like crazy. So funny enough that people are being shaken out so easily, right? They are thinking that bull run is over. And of course, you know, it could be. Well, but to me, it's pointing out to, you know, basically the last shakeout before the breakout. But of course, again, this is just my opinion, and nobody is interested in bull run soon, okay? So again, guys, you know, I think that these, you know, scary times are actually providing a beautiful opportunities for entry. Nevertheless, guys, let's cover the chart now. All right, so we are sitting at 2-hourly time frame for Pepe, and now we have beautifully bounced from that level of support, okay? But now on a 2-hourly time frame, it looks like we are basically peaking, okay? So we could see a little bit of a pullback, but who really cares about 2-hourly, right? Now let's have a look at the 4-hourly time frame, and let's throw a ribbon at it. So we are still in that, you know, downtrend, okay, according to the moving averages, right, to that ribbon, okay? Nevertheless, guys, once we are going to flip a green, hopefully sooner rather than later, of course everything depends on BTC's price action, then most likely we are going to have more confidence in Pepe's price action, right? So now, guys, if you have picked up Pepe, and here I believe that you are up, let's see, around 20%. I think that's great. Obviously 20% maybe is not like, you know, 200x, but still better than nothing, okay? So 4-hourly time frame for stochastic RSI is showing that we might experience that downward momentum. And now let's have a look at the daily. All right, so if it comes to the daily, guys, we have properly bottomed out, okay? So I'm not saying that we are going to see, you know, a huge upside now, but we potentially could, okay? So there are two scenarios, you know, if it comes to, you know, this breakout, well, next breakout, potential breakout for Pepe, right? We are either going to see something like this, right? A little bit of breakout and then dump, okay? But I believe that sooner or later on a daily, we are going to see something like this, okay? And that is going to be obviously a next pump for Pepe. So this is just my opinion, not a financial advice, okay? But I do believe that entry, you know, is definitely better here rather than, you know, here. That will be probably the time to take some profits, okay? Now, guys, let's have a look at the weekly perspective for Pepe, and let me get rid of Madrid ribbon, okay? So now, guys, the weekly stochastic RSI for Pepe is actually showing potential strength, okay? Yes, we might gonna bottom properly and all of that, blah blah blah, but you know what is happening after these bottoms, okay? So once stochastic RSI on the weekly is going to properly bottom out, we definitely have much more fuel towards the upside, just like it happened here. And we have experienced a pump of how much for Pepe? Let's have a look. There was 5x, okay, roughly 5x to be exact, 653, okay. So you could technically 6x your money if Pepe is going to see the next major move like this. But of course that all depends on many factors, you know, of mangogs and all of that, you know, how much of that shakeout we are going to be experiencing, in my opinion. Please remember that watching only Pepe's charts isn't going to help us. So now let's have a look at a couple of interesting charts that are going to potentially help us to determine of what we can expect from the market. All right, so shout out to the Scalping Pro, and he's saying that this is the Bitcoin possible scenario for the next few months. This is the upwards sloping trend line, and every single time we are touching that trend line, we are experiencing a bounce, right? So as you guys can see, we are still in the bull market. Okay, this is more of a macro chart, obviously zoomed out, and we are going towards the upside. Okay, and this consolidation is healthy, in my opinion. Of course, that isn't necessarily going to happen for 100%, but if we are going to dip to 47k, well, that would shake so many paper hands and Jeffries away. So thinking like a rich person and market maker, that would make sense and would still be bullish, you know, from chart perspective, okay? And then potential reversal towards the upside, okay? Now let's have a look at another chart, all right? So shout out to Titan of Crypto, and he's showing striking similarities on BTC. He's saying that it looks like BTC is forming the same price action it did in 2023, okay, last year. So we had this range in which we have been trading for quite a while on a daily chart, by the way, and we have reached that bottom, and then we had a sell-off again, and then we had exit out of that range. So if you ask me, these ranges look very, very similar, okay? So the question is, are we going to see, you know, some more downside? Well, we already did, okay? This is, you know, sitting at 57k in here. Obviously, we saw a dump towards the 52. So technically, that could be, you know, the last shakeout before we are going to trade upwards. In this case, this chart would be irrelevant. But let's see. Okay, and now shout out to Mr. Lark Davis, and he's saying that Bitcoin experienced 20% plus pullbacks 12 times in 2017 bull run. Okay, so guys, looking at these pullbacks, okay, this is not a big deal, okay, in my opinion. All right, yes, it feels very, very painful, right? But as you guys can see, market can actually reverse in an instant, okay? So be aware of that and don't be shaken out, okay? So in my opinion, of course, the best strategy would be, you know, asking yourself a question of how much money you actually want to make this cycle, and basically wait until BTC, Pepe, Kaspa, whatever it is that you guys are investing is going to hit your, you know, exit plan strategy and meet your strategy plan. Okay, now let's have a look at Yoda's chart. All right, he's asking another PO3 in progress. Well, let's have a look. Okay, what does he mean, that PO3? Obviously that PO3 is that, you know, zone in here. Okay, but this is something that we have experienced, you know, coming from December, right? The huge pump towards the upside, then we had a fake out, and then we have entered this rectangle, aka 3. So potentially this could be something that we have experienced, you know, just yesterday, and after that we could see that momentum being built up towards the upside for BTC. Obviously that would be great, and in this case Pepe was going to see upward movement. Okay, now let's have a look at this chart, and shout out to El Crypto Prof, and this is a daily chart for BTC, of course. So he's saying that it looks like we are currently going to experience the true spring event in the Wyckoff reaccumulation model, guys. All right, so if you're new on the channel, please remember that Wyckoff reaccumulation, well, actually Mr. Wyckoff identified that this is how big money is manipulating retail investors. Okay, so we are in this range obviously for BTC, and potentially now this is the last fake out before, you know, momentum possibly being, you know, built up towards the upside, and then we are going to experience the next leg up, and you've got the model in here. Prof is saying that he's probably still one of the few bulls out there, but he doesn't think the bull market is over. Corrections happen and nobody hits the exact bottom, so all this hate is useless. By the way, he's seen this pattern before. Guys, I do agree with him, okay? Because, you know, obviously I don't feel huge euphoria if it comes to my portfolio, okay? And I have very diverse portfolio, and I've started investing, you know, when we have basically saw the depths of the bear market in here, okay? So I think the fireworks are yet to come, and let's see what is going to happen, guys, okay? The real fun starts in the fall. Okay, so let's have a look, guys. All right, obviously we've got spring and green, summer, right? But we have experienced some dumps even in summer, okay? And that summer we are going to experience in 2024, guys. All right, so you know, on a zoomed out picture, everything in my opinion is still going according to the plan. Okay, we are going to experience a fireworks next year, okay? And this is something that we have to, you know, anticipate and wait for. Okay, patience is key. My opinion, not a financial advice. You do what you want, guys. All right, now let's actually quickly have a look at one chart, okay, that I believe is kind of important, especially for Pepe, right? So this is crypto total market cap that is excluding top 10 dominance on a weekly chart. So as I was mentioning in a previous update, we've got this, you know, downward momentum, aka sell-off, however you want to call it, you know, on a weekly time frame for dominance for these alts. Okay, and after that we saw a huge pump. That was an old season. Okay, and I believe that this is something that we are experiencing, right? Because, you know, we have experienced the first leg up, right, just like in here, and then dump, right? So if this history is going to repeat or rhyme, however you want to call it, guys, we could potentially experience, you know, an old season, well, perhaps this year, starting this year, perhaps in few weeks, few months, who really knows, right? But this is basically what is brewing. Okay, the weekly time frame is showing some strength and potential, you know, breakout towards the upside. Okay, but of course it could go down at the same time too, because, you know, we do have that support here sitting at 8%. Okay, and if we are going to, you know, let's say be conservative and don't measure from here, but from, let's say here, that move was 46%. Okay, and at the moment we are sitting on the move of 30. So if we would go to, let's say, 37, that would shake out much more hamsters, much more paper hands, and then we could experience some pump. Time is going to show, and thank you very much for watching, guys. Peace and love, crypto.